Okay, update on crypto here. We'll focus on Bitcoin and Ether. In general, the other, alternative layer ones, Solana, Avalanche, obviously aside from Luna, which is completely blown up, are down, anywhere from 70 to 80, even 90% in some cases. So it's very clear. I think those terms are, not super helpful, like bear market, bull market, but it's clear that we're in a long-term downtrend. I think is probably the most accurate way to put it. And looking at the Bitcoin and Ether charts in particular, these are monthly charts, and I've called out, a few times. It does look like Ether has a 15-month cycle, and we are on month 11. The top was on month 5. So we've been descending for a while. That was November. We just need patience here, right? And there's nothing magical about 15 months. It doesn't have to be 15 months. It just has been in the past. We did have this really short one that was 9 months, which was incredibly bearish. Topped out on month 2. In this case, we topped out on month 5. And so we'll have to watch it. The structure of the chart definitely tells you that. If I zoom in here, you can see we had this big downdraft. And then we had these 2 months where we actually did okay. That was that run back to, and actually the top came on this month in April, where we kind of made our move back to almost 3,600, and this was turned out to be a bear flag, right? This was a bear flag of this downdraft, and it's now spilled over. So we're probably going to get another high. You would expect it's not going to get back to 3,600, right? Like if you just look at the structure here, we went down, we made our lower high here, and now we've made a lower low below this low, and so you imagine we make another lower high. And so don't fall for the trap. And if we do make a higher high above 3,600 and continue moving higher, then obviously we know maybe we are making a run back to that 5,000 level and above. But there's probably some more downside here, and I said this in my last video. It wouldn't be crazy to see this, back in like the 1,000 range, like in this area here, right? Like it wouldn't be crazy. I'll just mark a vertical line here, or excuse me, a horizontal line. Something like here wouldn't be kind of crazy anywhere here, and the chart wouldn't be broken. This would just be a consolidation of this huge up move here, this huge move. And so Bitcoin is in a similar situation. In the case of Bitcoin, it's a pretty clear 4-year cycle, which would be 48 months exactly. This is month 41. The top was on month 35. So again, more patience. In this case, that would imply that the low isn't till the end of the year, whereas Ether may have an earlier low. And that might make sense in terms of the catalysts that are out there, right? Like you could see a world where the merge happens sooner than people are anticipating. And so ETH bottoms, but maybe Bitcoin doesn't because there isn't a catalyst for it anymore. Who knows? I'd say you probably are better off watching ETH to get a sense of the broader crypto market anyway. And if you look at the weekly chart, just to get a little bit more precision in here, we're on week 17 right now, which just started, by the way. This candle just opened. It's an inside week so far for both Ether and Bitcoin. But I mean, look at this huge downdraft. Again, this is your down leg that we were looking at on the monthly chart, but now it's a weekly chart, so you're able to see a bit more detail. That was your bear flag on the monthly, right? Like we had a run back to 3,600, and now it has spilled over below this low. And so we probably get a rally here, maybe even up to like here, right? Like this area, 2,700, call it. That would be a nice little run from to here, and then before failing. Because you can see the last weekly cycle was 31 weeks, the one before that 39, the one before that 28. So at week 17, we're like maybe halfway through it, and we topped out on week 9. So, a lot of downside to go in terms of time. Who knows about price, but certainly wouldn't expect a low anytime soon. Same thing for Bitcoin. For Bitcoin, that equivalent level would be, a run back to call it 35,000. Not terrible percentage-wise, but also not something to get super excited about. And drilling down to the daily, I mean, Jesus. This just looks like a big bear flag off this descent, right? Yeesh, that is ugly. Pretty much the same thing for Ether. And notice how small these candles are. I'll say this again. You see these big candles, conviction to the downside. I mean, this maybe not so much conviction because of the lower wick. But the point is, these tiny candles, these tiny advances, tell you there's like hesitation on the side of the buyers, and this is kind of setting us up for a potential drop. Not does not bode well.